I'm going to start recording specifically so I can have a YouTube backup. Okay? Like, in other words, I don't want somebody being like, well, I forgot. Well, you didn't forget. Go to my YouTube channel, look it up there. Alright, so first thing I'm doing here is obviously I'm just removing the cowls that I had in there. I'm going to steal this drill chuck right here, mainly because reaching over there to grab that one's going to be a pain in the neck. But standard drill chuck, the one that's on the machine, will work. Okay, nice and tight. Now, just so you know, every operation in here but the last one is in the drill chuck, okay? So there's no need to switch out or anything like that. You're going to be using this drill chuck pretty much the entire time. Alright, I'm going to lower my vise down so I can actually do the work. Standard set of parallels in the machine. In this case they're, I don't know, 1.25 inches, I think. But enough so that we can see the top edge of the part. Okay? So what I'm going to do here, snug it up, give her a seat, lock her down. Alright, so our print. I'll throw some of these around here just so you guys can see it. Look over shoulders, whatever else. Okay, so from the print, you can see here that we have 2 holes, right? This is the side view of the holes, this is the top view of the holes, right? You'll notice that on the top view, there's dimensions all over here. Even if you can't read them on the screen right now, you know that there are dimensions there. That's the instructions as to where to put the holes, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I gave you good, accurate numbers, and they're all measured from that corner right there, okay? So on the actual part, we're talking about this corner right here. It's the same one, okay? The other thing you might notice about the print, when you're looking at it from the side view, this is the section view. You'll notice that you can see threads going all the way through on one of the holes and only halfway through on the other, right? So what does that tell you? One of them, we got to pay attention to how deep we go. Okay, so when we're cutting the threads only go a certain distance down. You'll notice the hole goes all the way through. Okay, so you're drilling the hole all the way through for the threads, but you're not actually cutting the threads all the way through the hole as well. That's only the second hole. Okay, so this is sort of the basic way we're set up and the basic way we run. Alright, so got my part in there. First thing I'm going to need to do is edge find. I'm hoping everybody remembers this task, but I'll do it on video so that everyone can see it, even if they forgot it. Alright, so edge finder. Anybody remember how fast we run an edge finder? 600 RPM. Perfect, sir. Perfect. A wonderful speed for an edge finder. Alright, so I got to edge find off the front of the part and I have to edge find off the side of the part. So there's 2 edge finding operations, not just one. So I'm going to find the front of the part because I happen to be closer to it right there. So edge finding. Load your edge finder in a drill chuck or a collet, in this case a drill chuck. Push the tip of the edge finder crooked. That doesn't help. I was going to say, like I was just trying to see if we could change the view and make it better. Alright, I'm at 700 RPM, so slow her down a little bit. Okay, let's stabilize. Did I find the edge? No, not yet. Keep going until it kicks, right? There we go. You can see it kick just off center here. Not centered up, it's not lined up anymore. So from there, I go up. I'm on the Y-axis right now. So I zero my Y-axis on my digital readout. Okay? Then, bring the edge finder up. I'm going to go this way. 100,000ths of an inch, or $1, according to my digital readout. Hundred thousandths. Zero again. I have just located the front edge of my part. Okay? With a little practice, again, just a few minutes of your time. All right? If you're out of practice and this takes you longer, that's fine. You still got to do it. If you skip it, your holes are going to be in the wrong spot, and that's a huge problem. Okay? There's only 2 features on this part. Okay? So there's not much to grade. If whole things are not where they belong, that's a big chunk of the grade that just floats away. Okay? So, now I'm going to do the x-axis. Sorry. I just did Y. I'm going to do the x-axis. There we go. All right. Drop her down. High gear. It's going to be tougher to see the kick on the camera, I think, without me moving it. Kick. Yeah, it kicks. Believe me, trust me, it's kicked. It's almost impossible to see on there. Zero the x-axis. Go over my part by an extra $1 or 100,000ths of an inch. Zero again. Now my check for this is really, really simple. I can straighten out my edge finder again. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eyeball it till I feel like the very middle of the edge finder is underneath, is right on the corner of the part. If my digital readout shows me that I'm close to zero in that, then I'm good to go. Okay? If it's not reading, if it doesn't look like I'm over zero by, say, 15,000ths of an inch or so, maybe 20, then I probably did something wrong. I should probably maybe rethink the edge finding operation. You know, try it again. Okay? So we're good. We know where the corner of the part is. First hole. .625 in the Y, 0.5 in the X. 625 up in the Y and 0.5 over in the X to the right, okay? That's where I have to locate my hole. Now you'll notice down here, there's all the thread specifications. It says use a 3.14 drill, and it should go 1 inch deep. In other words, it should go all the way through. And then you're gonna find the 3/8 16 tap, and you're gonna put that in 1/2 inch, okay? So, take out my edge finder, because I don't need it right now. Now, I'm getting all my parts, if you're looking at this on the camera, out of this little bin right here, okay? This bin has an edge finder, it has 2 drill bits, 2 taps, a tap wrench, a center drill, basically everything we need, okay? I will also need one of these little bottles of oil too. So, I'm going to grab my center drill. For those of you who have forgotten what a center drill is, it's one of these little guys here. It is a very short, stubby drill bit. Locks in here. Come on, focus for me. Okay. Locks in here. Why is it not focused? Is it not focused, or is it just my eyeballs? Okay, well, the point is, it's a very, very short, very small drill bit, and it's just for creating the starter hole, okay? So, I'm going to set my digital readout up there. Oh, wow. I didn't realize the numbers phased like that. Okay, so it was over ½ inch. So over in the X, positive 500 thousandths of an inch, or $5. Okay. Am I bothering you guys? Am I bothering you guys? Okay. I don't have time for anything but this. All right. Okay, and 625 thousandths here, or $6.25 if you're going to use the coin analogy. Okay, so I'm over the position of my first hole. Drill, center drills. What speed? Traditionally 1,000 RPM. So it's still high gear. Crank her up to 1,000. I didn't tighten it enough. That's on me. There we go. Tighten her down really good. Okay, so my hole has been spotted. Okay, you can just barely see it there when I sort of covered up a little bit. There is a dent, a crater in there. That's the exact shape of that drill bit. Take this guy out. Now, if you've got a print in front of you, there's a whole big data block, a set of instructions on there, right? So the 314, the 314 drill, right? How fast? 600. Okay. Sorry, I asked because I looked it up on the chart. I actually set this up correctly. I just, again, didn't remember it because there were a lot of things to remember for today. All right. A little bit higher. No, sorry, a little bit lower. Okay. Nice and snug on the drill bit. Okay, nothing underneath here. I'm not going to hit any of my parallels. I'm right in the middle of the part. High gear. Notice I am using the quill, so the table's not coming up. The quill is dropping down. It's a faster way of making holes. Allows me great feel and great control. It should sound good. You'll notice I'm popping up every once in a while just to get the extra junk out of the hole. Also, so I don't wind up with really long chips that smack the camera. Okay, I have broken through. Now, that's the part of this operation that's the same and should be no surprises to anybody here. I think everybody here has drilled a hole at some point on the machine, okay? This next part is new, okay? Nobody's done any sort of threading on the mill yet, so this should be a new process. It is really uncomplicated. Now, first of all, we don't use the machines. This first one is a hand tap thread, which means we're hand twisting the tap into the part. What that means is no machine power necessary. I'm actually going to do that right now. Turning the motor off. Because I just don't want the drama of this thing kicking on when it's not supposed to. Wow, this chuck is sticky. Until it just totally lets go. Okay, so I'm going to take my bits. I'm going to put them back in the bin. The first hole is 3A16, yeah? So there's going to be 2 taps in the container. One clearly bigger, one clearly smaller. Okay? 3/8 is smaller than half, so our 3/8 bit is our little guy. Now the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take that tap, I am going to put it in the drill chuck. I can't do my whole hole like this, but what I can do is start this thing in the hole going exactly straight in exactly the right spot. If I put this, if I put the bit in crooked sideways, it'll go in for a couple of turns, okay? And then it gets stuck, and then you either snap it off in the bottom of the hole, or you have a really crooked thread for the rest of the time you've done this, okay? Neither one of those is a good option. So we're holding this thing in the drill chuck, just like this, okay? I'm gonna bring it down here. You can see it sort of corks into the hole. I'm going to hold it there for a second. I'm going to grab my oil, okay? You've got to use oil when you use threading tools, okay? Because cutting threads produces really big, weird-shaped chips. They're big spirals, okay? And you got to cut the friction there. Otherwise, it's almost impossible to twist these things and get them to work. So, always cutting oil, okay? By the way, for the screwdriver, that's always cutting oil too, okay? The cutting oil, you guys know where it is? Right behind the inking station, okay? Actually, right next to all the drill bit pins. Okay, so I've got this all lined up. Now what I'm going to do is, you can see all the way up in the corner of the camera here, I've got my hand on the quill, and I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure on here. Not a lot. You'll notice I just have a thumb there, right? While I gently twist this in the first couple of turns. Now, eventually, this is going to get way too hard to twist in. Okay? So, I'm going to leave it. Right? It's basically too difficult for me to twist this anymore. By the way, I'm turning this clockwise or counterclockwise, guys? Clockwise. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. You're trying to tighten it in there, right? So you turn it clockwise. Then, what I can do is I can just literally pop this off here. Okay? And you can see, that sucker's firmly locked in there still, okay? It's nice and straight, up and down. That's what I need it to be. After this, now I have to basically make this go in exactly half an inch deep. Okay, so I am going to lower this. By the way, this might not be possible with the camera, because the camera's right in my way for what I need to do. I'm going to see if I can do this from off to the side, but if I can't, I'll just describe it. All right, first of all, I got to get some working room in here. So I got to lower my table down a lot. You'll notice my drill quill is drill chuck is disappearing. All right, you have some kind of wrench in your box. Either it looks like this, or it's much more of a long stick type wrench. Either type will work for this. Oh, got to go a little bit more. So, because my thread has been started, by the way, you just twist this little knob down here to tighten this thing in. Because I've already started this, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to back it out so I can get a count on this. The thread has to go half an inch deep, yeah? The print says it goes half an inch deep, right? Well, there's 16 threads in an inch, so how many threads have to go in? 8, right? Half of that. Half of 16 is 8, right? So, this guy here, so I just set it in here. I just felt it. Hey, look, it's just grabbing. That's just grabbing right there. That's pointed to, so I'm going to take the handle, I'm going to throw it off center. It's off to the left right now, okay? This guy here needs to go around 8 full turns, okay? If I go in 8 full turns and then I back out, guess what? Exactly 8 threads have been cut into the part. The bottom ones might not be full sized. I'm not worried about that at this point, okay? I'm worried about getting the basics done. So, 1 full turn, 2 full turn, 3 full turn. Those clearly were turns that I managed to get into the machine before I got started here. Okay, you might see little chips bubbling up out of here too. That's kind of normal. 4 full turn, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so the tap is stuck in there, but it's gone in 8 full turns. I might have missed a count, and it might actually be 9. But the point is, I got it in there as tight as I could. I can back it out now. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take the back it out a little bit, and loosen the wrench. Get the wrench off. Should be able to twist this out with my fingers. Okay, so our first thread has been cut. It has been cut well. I can see my cut in the part. It's looking good. Okay, this is ready to go. Okay, that hole is acceptable. For you know, again, I could put a bolt in there. Okay, I could, if this was the head to a hammer, I could screw my handle in there and be good to go. Okay, so that one's finished. I got to do one more, and that one is involving power tapping and a full-size hole. Okay, so my next hole location. Come on, focus for me, baby. There we go. My next hole location is 1.5 inches over and still 625 up. So I keep my 625, and now I go to 1.500 in the x-axis. That's positive 1.500. Okay, I'm over my next hole location. Back to the center drill, 1000 RPM. All right, turn the motor back on. Center drill for hole number 2 is done. Next, got to put in my larger drill bit, which I believe I said was 400 RPM, yeah? Or 450? 400. Okay, 400. So, tighten her down really good. Shift to low gear. Okay, got my hole for my second spot done. Now, a couple of considerations. This next one's going to be power tapped. All right. Power tapping is again something I mentioned in the classroom, something I normally don't have first-year students do. Okay. I'd like you guys to give it a shot. Now, a couple of rules with power tapping. First of all, you have to have a hole that goes all the way through the part. If it stops halfway through, never power tap it. Okay. You will break the tap, you will ruin your part, and I warn you, okay? Like, don't do that, right? Power tapping is only for through holes. You must use oil, and you must follow all these instructions that I'm about to give you guys to the letter. You can't fudge this, okay? First of all, do you guys ever run the machine at the slowest possible RPM? You do now, okay? So, one of the first things I got to do is I got to lower my speed. Before I do that, though, drill chuck's coming out, because we need a collet for this operation. Just like you can't hold an end mill in a drill chuck, you cannot hold a tap for power tapping in a drill chuck. So we get the drill chuck out of there. Okay, I think I grabbed the right side. Chuck. And I gotta get my oil bottle off the floor. Oh. Okay. My tap on it somewhere should say, it says very faintly right here on the letters right there, 1/2 inch 13. So this is a 1/2 13 tap. That's what I want it to be. And it fits in the collet pretty good. Okay? So you can see there, it's a standard collet fit. It doesn't touch the teeth, it only fits in there, but that'll work. All right, this should be so tight in the collet, it's kind of mind-boggling, okay? This needs to be tight, tight, tight. If this slips, that can cause you drama. So I'm going to tighten this thing down heavily. I know you can't see much in the video. I'll raise the view in 1 second. Okay. Also, lowest possible RPM. There we go, 50 RPM. Look at how slow that thing's moving. That's crazy. Okay, I want you to think about this. If the tool right now is moving at 50 rotations per minute, how long is it going to take for us to do 13 turns of the tap? The tap can cover an inch. It can move an inch total distance in 13 turns. Okay, so we're talking about just under a quarter of a minute, so 15 seconds, give or take, right? That this is going to take to do the whole hole, right? Powered. So you got to be smart about this. And the other thing you got to be aware of when you do this, aside from the oil, is you got to be good with the machine, okay? So what's going to happen up here is we're going to hit this over to low gear. That way, right? Machine's going to start to pull the tap down into the part, okay? When you're done and you want it to stop, you switch it to stop, and then you got to put it into high gear to back it out of the part, okay? We're using the spindle on the machine to pull the tap into the machine and remove it, okay? It's critical that we get that right. If the tap pulls so far down, that this guy here crashes into it, we're done. We're no good. So don't let that happen. Okay, so power tapping. I'm going to get a little closer. Again, there's nothing underneath my part. My parallels are fairly skinny. They're not going to interfere with the center location of the part. Lots of oil, okay? Lots of oil. All right, so power tapping. Turn the machine on to low gear. I'm going to leave my hand on the power switch. I'm going to take this other hand, I'm going to bring it over here and start bringing this down into the part. It's pulling itself into the part now. All right, when she gets close, turn her off, back her up. Just so you know, I do not recommend doing this with skinny taps. Okay, little skinny fragile ones, you'll break them. This nice big chunky one there here, this 1/2 inch 13, it actually made a pretty darn respectable hole. I'm gonna see if I can take that out and show that to the camera because it looks really good. It looks like we planned it. I don't know if you can see in there, but nice clean threads. There's some chips in there in the way, but it's a very, very well done hole. This is the part that you guys need to produce for me, okay? It's already pre-cut to size this way. It's already pre-cut to size this way. All you need to do is edge find and blast 2 holes into the darn thing, okay? It's not as easy as it looks though, because obviously this hole here is only halfway through the part. The drill is all the way, and this one here is power tapped. So we're asking for 2 new skills in the process, all right? What's gonna happen here is when we get on this, you guys are 2 to a machine. Okay, we got 1 dead Bridgeport right now due to power issues. I have 10 kits set up. 10 bottles of oil, 10 sets of drill bits, 10 sets of taps. Okay, so we've got the equipment for you. I need you guys to actually carry this out. That's going to be the challenging part. All right, questions, gentlemen? All right, I'm going to turn the video off.